If you've clicked on this looking for an RV bargain, you might have found the right place. If you're after looking through what one of El Monte's FS30 or FS31 or any of their Class C model RVs are, then hopefully I'll be able to help you out in this short video. I'm going to just break down really quickly how much it costs us and how much you can save by going on one of their one-way hires from one of their locations and bring it back to another. Let's jump in. You can save nearly $2,500 just by using one of the El Monte's one-way deals, which hopefully I'll be able to leave you in a link down below. If you're fairly flexible, you can grab yourself a bargain and save $2,500. Now, I've just travelled from Dallas picking up a one-way hire. It took 9 days. We went through Colorado and then returned it to Vegas. It was just under 1,800 miles in total. They give you 1,700 to start with, which ends up saving you about $550. And the whole thing cost under $3,000, including $500 on a zip line in Durango, $100 on bike hire, all the camp fees, all the fuel, all the food, and everything that we bought kept under $3,000 for the entire 9 days. So we picked up the RV. The RV cost us $686 in total, and once we got it back to Vegas, I got $200 in fuel back, discounted off the total price. You do put a deposit down, and I elected to take their insurance, which was around about $300 including the price. As you can see on that list, it's around about anywhere between $9, $19 or $29 plus tax for your rental. El Monte from start to finish have been really good with the experience. One of the things we did to help ourselves out is we pre-booked a shop at Walmart, and we went to Costco as well. The guys from El Monte had the fridge on for the preceding day. The gas was full and it was all charged up. Even the water was full if you decided to dry camp on that first night. So top marks to El Monte for sorting this out. You can, if you want to, use their bedding, their kits and their kitchen kits. They're all added extras. What the lady advised me to do is it is just as cheap to buy all your pots, pans, cutlery, disposable plates, everything that you need to go camping. You can probably get to Walmart and pick up for a lot less than what they hire them out for. Same with the bedding. If you need a full bedding kit, comforters, pillows, you're probably better off just buying them at Walmart and then trashing them at the end. It's just as cheap. I'm going to jump outside and I'm going to show you the van outside, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about the stats and the facts and the figures and what miles to gallon it cost, how much fuel we used, and just some of the things we encountered while we were driving around America. The model is what they call an FS30 or FS31, which is the 30-foot model with the slide out. I've looked around a couple more, so you've got I think it's M28, M25 and M22. They're just the standard models without the slide outs, but they're similar on the outside, and if you watch El Monte's video, they'll just show one video for all their Class C rentals. I'm hopefully going to take you around the outside first, and then we're going to jump on inside and I'll show you the inside and how me and the family got on driving this thing back for a week. If we go around the left hand side of the vehicle all the way to the back, and then we'll jump on inside and I'll show you the slide outs. Down the driver's side, the first thing you'll get to is the generator. It is very user friendly. There's one switch inside that I'll show you. You press this switch, it runs. Behind this panel, you can see there, you can adjust it for altitude, but realistically we went up to 8,000–9,000 feet through the Grand Canyon and never had to adjust it. In back further, you get little cubby holes all the way down the side. You'll get to know and love where they all are. This is what's known as the shore power or the electric hookup. It's quite a long lead, so it's on the left side, everything's on the left side, the hookups are on the left. Then further back, here's where the hot water is in the furnace for the heating. I'll talk more about that on the inside. The gas you've got to screw off, turn off, and there's also a gauge on here to show you how much gas you've got. The heating does run on gas, not on electric only. Well, it runs on electric and gas. So, but the main thing is, what we found is we run out of gas just as we've got a campsite. It was fairly chilly as it is today, but if there's no gas, your heating will not work. We had to fill it. It's not much to fill. It's about, I don't know, $3 a gallon for propane gas. Trying to find somewhere were more difficult. U-Haul do gas, and a quick Google search will show you anywhere, and I think some of the campsites did too. So top tip, don't run out of gas if it's somewhere cold. If it gets down to about a quarter or less, I would just go and fill it somewhere. Easy one to fill up with gas. I just used regular unleaded, didn't have a problem running this RV. Right here is where you fill the grey or empty the grey and the black water. I'm not sure whether you can see inside here, but there's two handles, one for grey and one for black. And one is grey and one's black. You threw that dumb hose into the hole and just empty your waste. Just above it, here, as the sanding flush, this is important to do, as I found out when, because not all your business comes out. So make sure you use this, run the water through for a good like 3 to 5 minutes, and it should just flush out. City water connection, most points I went to had its own water for full hookups. This comes off, you just screw it in here and then turn it on. And as the guide probably tells you, don't turn the pump on when you've got city water, because you could get overpressure. Water itself and water tanks, so if you're dry camping, you'll have to fill this. The tank is massive. It holds about, I think it's 40 or 50 gallons in this vehicle, but that is a lot of weight. For any Europeans, that's about, I think it's about 150 kilos. So you don't really, if you're using full hookups, you don't really need to travel around with the extra 150 kilos. There's a big space here. We put our, because we flew into Dallas, we put all our cases in here. It is massive. So we put camping chairs, 2 suitcases, 2 large bags, and we used to carry around drinking water as well. There is on this one a handy camera at the top, at the back, so you can see where you're reversing, which is good for right at the back of the vehicle, but maybe not for the back corners. And if we work our way around to the passenger side, you'll see where all the goodies are in here. So in here, you've got leveling jacks, you've got this water pipe for your city water, and here we have a cable which I hardly used. They give me a spare pressure regulator if I had problems with that one, but I never did. The leveling jacks are pretty good. Most of the sites we went on were flat, so we only needed a little bit at the front or back. Underneath where the leveling jacks are and all the pipes and other equipment, there's this waste pipe, and you can see here it just screws in. Make sure it's nice and tight, otherwise you'll get covered in it. You need to be fairly close to the dump site when you're dumping. Last little bit is the awning and the slide out. We didn't really need the awning, to be fair. We did have it out once, but he recommended that we don't have it out in high winds, so we just left the awning as it was, but we did use the slide outs all the time, and I'll show you that inside. Let's go into the inside. There's 2 keys, one's for the deadbolt, which we'll show you, and the other one's for the handle itself, and it's opened. Now this is with the slide out Simba. You can see there's lots of room, and thankfully the wind noise is gone. So I'll have a quick pan round to show you the bits and pieces, then I'll talk more about the drive-in and the living conditions. It is a nice bed back here. It's a nice space. I know you can see this is right at the edge of the bed, but this is with the slide outs in. If I move the slide outs out, which I'll show you just in a couple of minutes, then it does give you more room. All the window blinds are just a roll shut. That one's sadly never worked, so we've never needed to. This is, you can't cover, unfortunately. So once it's light, it's light. There's no cover on that, but you can use this little screw handle right here, and it just screws out and the caps come open. But once the caps are open, you've got to remember they're open, because if you drive on and if it is in high winds, then you risk ripping them off. So before you set off, just make sure all the covers are shut. But there is a lot of cupboard space, so I think that's room for a TV if you did own one, but there's no TV on this one. This just opens up for more cupboard space if you need it, and then there's more drawers. What I would say is if you need anything and the slides are in, you'll not be able to get to these bottom two drawers, so it's up to you whether you leave them empty. There's lots of cupboard space, lots of places to charge, but one thing to note is you've either got to be on electric hookup or you've got to have the generator on to charge using the standard plugs. These are on the standard plugs as well. However, that you can charge from the vehicle battery, and it'll charge without either being hooked up or on electric power. There's lots more plug sockets on the other side too, so once you get in and you've either got the generator on or you've got plugged in, you should be good to go. Another good thing about the space in the back is you've got this sliding door, so it does lock in. You can move this door all the way across, and even with this slid out, this door just separates you from the rest of the van. Okay, working our way forward, you've got the bathroom area, which has been used a lot since we've been in here. It's pretty good. It's quite a nice space. You've got a shower separated by a curtain. Hot water only takes about 10 minutes, I would say, to warm up, and then you can have a nice hot shower. There is enough water in this van. That's separated by this curtain. Then you've got the toilet, which has got a handle on this side, as you can see, so you just squeeze that down and all your business goes away. You will need some of the blue stuff, which I've stored in here. It's not much, it's about $8. Lots more cubby holes and spaces in here where you just store your stuff. Light and an extractor fan should you need it. So the rear dinette in this model is good if you certainly want to split your kids up, so some are in the front and some are in the back. There's no seat belts in here. This slides down to make a bunk bed. This is where my youngest lad slept. This slides down, make a great space, and you do have these sort of safety belts and safety harness up here so that your kids don't slide out. It's also quite easy to put away. There's a ladder that just fits on here. It is a bit of a pig. The ladder will only fit once you've slid this out, but if you go anywhere and you don't need the slide outs, then you can use the space as well. Okay, instrument panel. It is user friendly. It's fairly self-explanatory. You have a generator on the top here, start stop switch, and I will start the generator just to show you. Sometimes it has a couple of false starts. We had it before where, if you can hear it, you start and then just let go, so you just have to hold it for 3 to 5 seconds. You can hear it as well, and it starts. You've got the red light on, which means you can now use all of the sockets. This tells you your levels, so all the panel on this side, you've got LPG, which is plenty. You've got 3 lights here, battery, which is almost full, fresh water, which should be empty. That's the huge tank I was talking about. Black water, which is from the toilet, and then grey water. Now all these should be empty, but the black water, for some reason, it always showed 2/3 full even when I flushed it out, but it is empty. Once you screwed that lid off, nothing else come out. 2 of these are the extending slides, the ones for the front, the 2's for the rear. Water, so if you needed to flush the toilet or you need to use the taps or anything else, you'll need this water pump on, and you can hear that working in the background. And then the gas itself, or the water heater, or the water heater just comes on. You can hear the furnace kicking on once you turn that on. The pilot light, so if you run out of gas like we did, the pilot light out once this goes on, so you can see it here. Pilot light turns up, it'll start the heater, the pilot light goes out. Once you're out of gas, which you can see here, but we're not, then the pilot light stays on. So fairly self-explanatory. The heating and air conditioning is just a temperature switch, so it slides left or right. Then you can either have it to cool, fan off, or heat. Now if you're we started in Dallas and it was fairly hot, so we put to cool, turn the temperature down, and then the fan, we came on low and just on auto, so the fan kicks in to try and maintain its own temperature. It's a pretty good system. You can leave this on while you're driving, but what I'd be wary of is just using all the gas if you're trying to heat the cabin or you're trying to cool it down. You can drive with the generator on. So the slides, I'll show you the slides. I'll show you on this bit here. So all you have to do is just on slide 2, which is the back bit, just extend, and this should wind out. Doesn't take long to do. Make sure everybody's feet and everything else are clear, and as you can see, it just opens up that space. Okay, lots more room now. You can see you can get down there, you can get to these two further drawers, and I'll just show you on the outside. On the outside it sticks out about a couple of feet from the side. I know the sites we were on, they asked if you had slide outs, but there were nowhere where I parked really that had any problems with the slide outs. So yeah, slide outs make it a really good usable space. What you will find with the generator is once you turn it on, it takes about 30 seconds to 45 seconds to actually give you power. We had a little night light down here for the kids, just one of the easy plug-in ones from IKEA, I think. But what you will find is once this starts, you'll not give you power in the electric sockets till about 30 or 45 seconds. And then you clear. What the guy said in the office is that you should have the generator on to move the slide outs out. So I'll try the other slide out now, I'll show you in your kitchen. So it's just on the slide one we're going to extend. And that kitchen part just extends out again, just increasing your floor space. So it says press the button, I think in the instruction manual, press the button even when it's come out, just keep it held for about 3 seconds, which does something with the motor. The kitchen area is really good, and as you can see there is lots of room in this slide out area. The floor space is great. The kitchen area is probably where we spent most of our time. You've got a microwave that works. You can see if this blue thing's flashing, then you've got power because it runs off the generator or on the electric hookups. The hob or stove runs on gas. Lots of cubbyhole space in here, but what we did find is if you've got not a lot of things that you put in here, they will slide around, but there's nothing to stop things sliding about. So what I would do is keep your heavy things at the bottom. Big long couch. It's quite nice. It folds out into a bed. It's a lovely, it's probably the softest bed that's in this model. The seatbelts do get in the way, and you can stuff these down the back. Now if they do fall down the back, you've got to fish them out. Table area is really nice. Underneath here you've got a catch that you just unhitch and then push this table all the way down. Put these two fold out cushions on the top, and you've got another bed as well. So in total you've got one double queen size bed at the back, you've got one fold out bed, you've got another bed here, and then you've got another smaller bed here on top of that table. And last but not least, one of the kids, my daughter, slept up here and had a wonderful time. You've got a TV. Now I thought you had to have the generator running to make this TV work, but it works all the time. So the TV and the DVD player that's hooked up here will work, and it's all connected. And if you see in the front, there is an HDMI. Now I didn't bring anything to connect to an HDMI, but I'm pretty sure it works fine. Okay, the fridge is really good. It's really clever. So you can see I've turned it off, but if you turn the fridge on, the light comes on. And I'm going to leave it off because I'm about to hand this in today. There's another switch there that says gas, so if you move it all the way out, it'll just run on gas alone. We just used it on auto all the time. The very kind chap at Monte down at Dallas turned the fridge on the day before, so it was nice and cool, so you could put things in the freezer and the fridge. But there's plenty of room in there. We didn't find anything slipped around too much. Maybe we only had one occasion. You can see you can shut the fridge, but you've got to give it an extra push, and then it clips shut. If you're driving along, it just runs on the gas. So again, it's important to keep your eye on the gas levels, because if you're driving, say you had a long drive and you had 4 or 5 hours and you've got things in the fridge, you need to have gas to make that run. Right, onto the driving and the bits and pieces in the front. It is, I don't know what to expect really. It's a bit like driving an old bus. There's nothing modern. I drive, I think, a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee, so I'm used to like electronic dashers and everything else. But in here, it is fairly old with the dials and switches, like an old Ford truck, but very easy to use. In the front, you've got a radio. This is on whether you can leave this on all the time. You've got to have this on as well so you can see in reverse. For the driving experience itself, if you're going to rent one of these, then don't expect it to be a amazing driving experience. It is like driving an old bus, and it is really noisy in the front. I don't know whether they forgot about sound deadening, but most of the noise comes from here. If you're working this thing hard, or you're driving in wind, or you're going up a hill and this thing is revving up pretty much, you will hear this. You can't have a conversation like this at this level. Right, the other thing about driving it is I didn't find it too big, and I didn't find it too awkward to maneuver. Maybe that's because I'm in America rather than in Europe. It's fairly easy to get around. I did think there were enough power. I was never disappointed. It did climb all the hills, even with you know, like I talked about, the water tank being filled, and we had all our equipment in here and food and shopping and everything else. It still managed to get up and over the hills and down the other side, and in all the sites. We had a couple of back-in sites that were relatively tight, but we still managed to get it in. Driving in high winds is interesting. We drove back yesterday. We're probably at about 30-mile-an-hour winds all the way back, and you will find you're turning into wind all the time, and the wind catches it from left to right, so you're constantly having to work the steering wheel. For the driving experience then, overall, I would say I've had a fun time driving it. I've driven it all the miles. I've done 1,800 miles. It is very comfortable to sit in. You could just turn that cruise control on and just follow it through. Probably stuck to around about between 60 and 70 miles an hour everywhere we went. It did get a return of, I think on average, about 8 miles to gallon. So what El Monte give you is correct. I didn't find it too expensive to fill. Obviously, we came from Dallas, where the fuel prices, I think, were around about $2 a gallon, all the way up to, where did we go, like $2.40 a gallon as we came east. Once I've finished this, I'll do all the numbers and I'll put them on a little sheet and add them to this video. But it's not too expensive, and El Monte, because we're on a one-way deal, they're going to give us $200 worth of gas back. So if you're thinking about getting an RV from El Monte, I would say they've been really good. For us, the guy at Dallas were excellent in his walk around. The video, even though it looked like it would take from the 80s, it was quite an explanation, and you can get to a guide in their materials in their website. You can download this to an iPad, so if you get stuck, you can read this. I'll try and leave you a couple of links below to save you digging through their website like I did, and I'll try and give you everything else. I hope you stuck with my poor explanation of the RV and some of the issues and some of the great things we found about it. There was certainly enough space throughout. We had a real good time. Would I do it again? Yes. It cost us in total $2,775 over 9 days. Flights were $22. We saved quite a bit using Delta Air miles, but if you're traveling from Europe, I think you can get across for maybe $400, $500, $600 if you can escape COVID, so maybe better for next year in 2021. The RV rental itself cost $686. Total fuel used were 466. This were over around about 1,800 miles, averaging about 9 miles to the gallon, so the gauge that El Monte used is pretty accurate for this vehicle. The campsites in total cost us $275. One of the last ones we dry camped for free, which were up near the Grand Canyon. But compare that with what I would have paid just for a standard rental, it probably would have been closer to $6,000. In conclusion, would I recommend an RV one-way rental from El Monte? Yes, without a doubt. You end up saving quite a bit of money. Do you have to be flexible with dates and times? Yes. Is it easier coming from the States? Yes, certainly. If you live near one of the places that you're dropping off, one of the large cities, either Vegas or Chicago O'Hare or New York. A really good trip, a really good way to see in America. If you're coming in from Europe, I would recommend this. If you're staying in America, again, you can save yourself quite a bit of money. If you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. If there's anything you particularly want to see regards figures, facts, or statistics, or what we found, or if there's any helpful hints that we can give to you, then by all means stick it in the comments. Please click like if you found it useful. I know when I was trying to look at an example of an FS30 or FS31, there was nothing on YouTube regards this vehicle from this company. If you want to learn more about how to stay healthy on the road, or other tips and hints to get the best out of life, then go to cooperslife.com. I'll leave you a link below, and we're giving away a free PDF which shows you 50 tips or hacks on how to stay healthier and how to get the best out of life. Thanks for viewing. I hope you got the best of it. Click like if you can, leave a comment, and thanks. Have a great holiday or vacation. Bye bye.